So I was just looking in the FGA member community in the song request section, and I saw this really cool one. T-Model Ford, Nobody Gets Me Down. Now, this is a great song, and I think this is a good one for us to check out. It's short, it's got some easy riffs for beginners, and it sounds really, really cool. So let's check this out. All right, juke joint style. It's just T-Model Ford and a drummer, just two of them. Cool. So he's doing like a call and response. Key of F sharp, so we're gonna put a capo on the second fret. So that riff, that's that main riff he's playing. And the main idea here, guys, is he has a call and response. So he's got this is actually the response phrase. And the call phrase is the other riff he plays, which is something like, let's see if we can hear that. That's that call phrase. So there, it's that slidey riff. We're sliding up to the 4th fret on the G string or the 3rd string. Okay, and make sure when you do that, this slide riff comes up in a lot of blues songs, but when you do it, make sure that you're including those open strings above it. Because check it out, if you don't play that, it still sounds cool, but it's so much better if you get that kind of dirty blues type sound in there where you're adding some extra open strings. Let's keep going and listen to all these different call and response phrases that he does. Okay, that phrase right there was actually the turnaround. So this is where the whole thing kind of starts over. The pattern will repeat itself. That's the main riff, call phrase, back to the main riff. Okay, so we have the call phrase to the main riff. This is the main riff, slowly. And you can see that he actually just plays that with one index finger like this. Actually, the low E string, I think he's hitting with his thumb. That's the response phrase, and the call is always... Okay, so he's also going to do a response phrase on the A7 chord, like this. But you want to do the call phrase before that. And then he's going to do a call response back to the E, the main phrase, the main riff. Okay, and then I also heard this, he goes to a B7, kind of turnaround, and then does that turnaround phrase. All right, let's keep listening. That's the call, A7, call, back to the main riff, over E. There's that B7, turnaround.
Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it now. Nobody gets it.
So he's got like a very loose form. He's not following an exact 12-bar blues form. He's loosely following it, meaning he's playing the chords in the same order, but he's adding like the call phrase, which is extending the form. So you can hear directly here when he's singing the call phrase and variations of that. And he's singing that, and then he responds with with the response phrases. So let's keep listening. This is really cool. Now I'll do a breakdown at the end to make it easy for y'all. call phrase. Responding with the A7. So there he did a little different one. Instead of, he's bending. And even if you bend, make sure that you hit some of those open strings. It sounds so much better.
Nobody gets me.
Main phrases.
Nobody gets me down. Nobody gets me down.
Very loose on the form there. You know, you can't play this loose on the form if you're playing with a band. Since he's just playing with the drummer, the form really doesn't matter, right? The drummer can more easily follow what he's doing and just wait for his big hit. But if you're playing with a bass player or piano or other instruments like that, it's going to be a lot harder for them to follow the form. So even though he's not playing an exact 12-bar blues here, it's still important for y'all to keep that in mind and learn that and get really good with it.
Nobody gets me.
There's that B7, A7, turn around. Back to the main phrase. B7, straight to the A7 riff, turn around. Yeah. Cool. So he's just ending there on that E7 chord. That's a great way to end. Give it some attitude, a bunch of different ways you can do that. Let me simplify this down in a really quick way, and then I'll just do a quick jam. So essentially, we just got the three parts. We've got the main riff. Okay, slowly. That's the main phrase. Now that is actually a response phrase. When we do call and response, the call comes first. We have a call and then a response. Now he's starting with kind of a response phrase, but the call phrase is this. That's that cool phrase. We also heard him do that same call phrase, but with a bend. Mix around and play both of them. Now the three responses were the main riff, and then he also responds with an A7, and then he also responds with a B7 to that A7, then back to the riff, and then he does this turnaround riff that sounds like this. Okay, so you can put those three parts together and loosely follow a 12-bar blues. I've made a quick backing track with just the drums here so that you can try to jam along. I'll do an example real quick. I made these drum tracks at Ableton and I can cue them with my foot down here. And then we can play along in this way. And I'll include this backing track for members to download so you can play along with it, and I'll do an example right now. I'm just gonna play around with the parts right now. I'm gonna start on a B7, but then I'm just gonna do a bunch of call and response phrases using the call phrase and then the response phrases that we already talked about. So I'll just start with the B7 turnaround. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. B7, A7, turnaround, riff. Riff, A7. B7, A7, turn around. So I'm holding B7 longer. Now I'll do variations. You can do turn around longer. So on the turnaround phrase, I did it longer, right? So you can almost use that as like a solo, right? This turnaround. Before you get into the phrase, you can just keep that going on that solo or on that turnaround phrase just for fun. Also on the riff, you can kind of play around with that phrase too as almost like a solo and make it longer. Like, do it as a call phrase, keep it short like how it's supposed to be, like the short one, like this. A little late. Do it again. Let's make the turnaround phrase longer. Cool. And then just end on an E7 like that, okay?